Hello, hello. It is time for the Red Lizard Draft League Week 2 highlight video. My name is Fievel and I'm with.
Maracuja VGC, and
Very
we're happy to look at week 2.
Yes, it was a very eventful week. Lots of trades. We're going to go over all the matches. We're going to go over the MVP, the most creative set this week. The trades. We're going to highlight all the trades that happened. We're going to go over the leaderboard, the current standings, and we also have a Pokemon specific KO leaderboard for you guys in the end. So we're going to jump
Exactly.
right in with the first one.
Which is the Basel City P-Blades versus Graceland Greninjas, right?
Exactly.
All right. So we're starting off strong. This is already the highlight set of the week for me because it was a real high-level cooking done by Mr. Fievel Fury himself. And we had the P-Blades going with Dengo, Ribombi, and Ferret as new additions to this week's squad and the trusted core of Dragonite and Hisui Arcanine and Zapdos Galar, which surprisingly Zapdos has never hit the field once, but is still there for mental pressure or whatever. And yeah, you could think that after week 1 that the Graceland Greninjas would switch it up after a tough loss, but no, they decided to run it back with the same squad, even the exact same Terras. And yeah, it is a really strong hyper-offensive core around Tornadus, Chien-Pao, and Entei. And let's see how they fared this week. After matching Tailwinds in game 1, the Greninjas were caught out of position as Tornadus thought it could sneak a kill on the opposing Ribombi. And from this point onwards, like it was similar to week 1. The combo of Dragonite and Hisuian Arcanine was just too much to handle. Although Chien-Pao in the end game was able to sneak away with 2 more KOs, but the P-Blades had the game 1 locked with very smart positioning. And of course the highlight set this week, multiscale, Terrafire Dragonite with Citrus Berry, which is very smart team building indeed, exactly for the opposition. Real nice tags. And in game 2, it started out very good for the Graceland Greninjas. They got the lead right and countered Arcanine with Rotom Wash and Terra Water Tornadus, but 2 missed T-Waves proved very costly, and the P-Blades again set up Hisuian Arcanine next to Dragonite in a very nice sport state with the opposing Tailwind petering out. And again, it was impenetrable and a very swift 2-0 victory for the P-Blades. Very nice match.
All right. Yeah, the cooking was done. Terrafire Dragonite multiscale citrus. It's a whole lot of work to break through, I guess. All right, we jump right into the second game. And this is the game Sleepy Q Bones against Ying and Yanks. It was played on card, so we have VOD from the stream. Second, we're also going to see more than just face cam. Don't worry, here's the game for you. So, here, what did we have? We had Sleepy Q-Bones versus Ying and Yangs. We had Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Iron Valiant, Latias, Basque Legion Female, Landorus, Therian, Raikou on the side of the Q-Bones. And Ying and Yangs brought Rillaboom, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Dreamtail, Basque Legion, Murkrow, and Flamigo. And it's the lineup is very interesting, right? Like we have Ogerpon Hearthflame versus Ogerpon Wellspring. We have Basque Legion Female versus Basque Legion. Only thing missing here is Latios against Latios, but we didn't see that. But nevertheless, both sides bring a really like toolboxy selection of Pokemon. We have a really supporty Iron Valiant with Taunt, Encore, and Thunderwave, Spirit Break for damage, but 3 supporting moves. Iron Valiant naturally faster than Screamtail, so I tried to keep that in check, while Basque is here to linger in the back with his Choice Band, and it's here just for really just dealing damage. Raikou for speed control, that sadly isn't always that reliable. Foreshadowing. But also Ogerpon for damage with Lando, Intimidate, U-turn, Volt switch on Raikou. There's a lot of switching, in and out maneuvering about to happen. On the yin and yang side, we have fake out support from Rilla as well as Screamtail to be just really disruptive with fast encore and disable shenanigans, and all to help that setup Sword Stance Ogre get those boosts. And with that not enough, there's also Co-Star Flamigo ready to also get involved with those and copy those Sword Stance boosts. Switch in.
With Choice Band, I believe it was Choice Band.
Here was Choice Band. Very nice. And we have Basque male here, and I already said there was the showdown of Basque female and male. Game 1 starts, and we see just that. Rillaboom next to Ogerpawn, get those sword stance boosts. Latias next to Raikou for the sleepy Q-bones, and Latias not quite able to pressure enough, and the advantage slowly but surely shifting towards the yin and yangs with an crazy offensive Rillaboom, surprisingly, to not just sit there and click fake out in U-turn. And it was the yin and yangs that take game 1. And then daylight robbery was happening right in front of our eyes. The yin and yang shift their lead and decide to bring pranks to Tailwind, while we see Terra Dragon Lando on the other side, while Lando really just put in so much work, as well as Iron Valiant standing in the entire game. Terra Dragon as a really solid choice here, resisting Stab of Rilla and Ogre Pawn and Bascu to some extent, which we're gonna see. Game 2 really, really clutch, living that Aqua Jet. Like, in the end game, it came down to Lando being in a lost position, but nothing is lost if there is a Rock Slide flinch and this clutch 2 HP Aqua Jet lift that stole game 2 for the Sleepy Cube. In game 3, we saw the Yin and Yangs on the more offensive side against the more toolboxy side, Iron Valiant dealing out all these Thunder Waves and a lot of full paras. We even saw a struggle from Okuporn after Encore and Taunt in when it was locked in Sword Stance. It was really well played on both sides and could have gone either way, but in the end, the Sleepy Q-Bones brought it home. It was very exciting to watch. So, always love me.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch, to play indeed. Some things to add there. There were a few pivotal Electroweb misses in game 1. It was very RNG, that said, but it was super fun, and it could have gone either way, which is very nice.
Yes,
And so, yeah, go ahead.
overall, I think the RNG was not like that crazy on favor. I feel like there was the ones the Electro Web and also Rock Slide flinches, Rock Slide misses that were important were the ones you missed, especially in game 1.
Right, exactly, yeah. Okay, so next up we have the Super Tendebros versus the Roaring Moon Ravagers. It's a Sun versus Sun matchup from two very strong trainers. As the Super Tendebros showed in week 1 the pure strength of Ursaluna Blood Moon. And the Roaring Moon Ravagers showed a knack for going with off-meta sets to catch the opponents off guard. If a quick flashback, the Choice Band Terra Ground Gyarados with an Earthquake Discharge spam versus the Trick Room matchup in week 1, which was very nice. The Tendebros decided to go with the main core of Lilligant, Torkoal, Mimikyu, and Ursaluna, which has a very fast Sun mode and a Trick Room oriented mode to sweep. And the Ravagers answered it with their own Sun mode, with a Flutter Roaring Moon, Ninetales, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Conkeldurr, and Gyarados as well. And in game 1, it seemed like the Tendebros were always in control. They read their opponents' every move and punished passive turns with setting up Trick Room on the last turn of Tailwind. Yeah, so it was very, very swift victory. And game 2, again, was looking super strong for the Tendebros, but a series of unfortunate RNG, which, matter of fact, was 3 full paras in a row on Mimikyu, plus a waterfall flinch on Torkoal. With that, the Ravagers were able to steal a win in game 2. But game 3 was the same as it was in game 1. After sniping Blood Moon on turn 1, the Ravagers were indeed in a solid position to start out. but a crit Shadow Claw on Gyarados and the smartly tagged Chardy Berry on Tornadus to survive the Ivy Cudgel was enough that the game slipped out of the Ravager's hands and the Tendebros claimed a Game 3 victory. And generally, it was a tough outing for the Ravagers. They had, as it seems, not too much tools to counter the onslaught of offense that Super Tendebros slammed in their way. But I'm sure they will bounce back in week 3 with another very strong outing, I guess.
Very nice match. Love you being here and not just clicking Trick Room. It's really here to also just deal damage, get those KOs as we're going to see later. Spoilers ahead in the KO leaderboard. Game. Round 4 was the huge power versus nothing creative. And right here we see the huge power with Wheezing and Regigigas. Kilowattrel, Crocodile, Urshifu Dark, and Ingambit. So we have, interestingly enough, 3 dark types with 4 fighting weeks. But with the scary duo of Wheezing and Regigigas not only creating an immediate offensive threat, but also disrupting the opponent, King Gambit is a good answer for Trick Room that is likely to come up with the Nothing Creatives versus a more balanced Grass Fire Water Core of Mungus, Heatran, and Palafin with Cresselia, Enamorus, and Tyranitar. Tyranitar really just a clean answer or into the pretty scary Chi-Yu. So that's pretty cool. So much that the Chi-Yu didn't even come to the game. Cresselia was here to set up Trick Room if needed, but without hindering Palafin too much with that priority Jet Punch. And what we saw was that Weezing was extremely disruptive, and though the creatives got Trick Room with Amoonguss on the field, it lost a bit of its bulk due to not having that regenerator. That seemed pretty big. And huge power in game 1 just played really solid, and we didn't see Urshifu or Queen Gambit. And they took the game without one Pokemon over 11 points is something that is just really cool to me and just really another ode to the draft format, and that's why we play this format. Giving all these Pokemon this sick viability. And we also didn't see Heatran on the other side, but yeah, so Weezing Galar was really strong, but I have a question. What is really strong into a fairy poison type? And if you said a steel fire type, then that is exactly what we're going to get in game 2 as Heatran. Heatran was brought to the game with a Terrabug substitute, and it was just Sep positioning that thing so well and managed to push through and come back with back-to-back wins. 2-1 win for the
Yeah, nice. It was very cool to see going with the Terrabug in game 2 and deciding to have Heatran in the back in game 3 as long as possible to just wall out the Weezing in the end game. It was very nice positioning indeed.
And
yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
I was just going to say that Regigiga specifically, right now we saw the team that Wolf played in, I don't even know what tournament it was. I think it was Wonderland or something. Anyway, Regigiga's just in a totally different role with White Guard and was very supporty. I don't remember the full set that he played Regigigas with, but it was interesting to see that actually Regigigas learns quite a bunch of support tools. Maybe you don't always need to position it next to Weezing Galar to get, like, you have actually quite a few options. Found very interesting that maybe Regigigas Sportmon incoming.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Anything is possible. Go wide into 5. example,
Yes.
Isle Arcanine against the Galarian Phantoms.
Right, exactly. And again, the Phantoms were just sticking to their script from week one. They were going with Indeedee, Sneasler, Arcanine, Armarouge. I do think that is a very strong core. And they chose to spice it up this week with the special flavor of Drifblim and Infernape as the new additions to the squad, as we will see in the free agent signings highlight in the later in the recap. And the Arcanines, they switched out half their team. No Ogerpon, no Tinkaton, no Toxtricity. Toxtricity was the main damage dealer in week one for them. And they decided to go with a fast mode. So around Vivian, Hydreigon, Smeargle, and Gengar. And fleshed it out with a more Trick Room oriented approach with Okidogi and Araquanid. In game one, I do think the Arcanines they were caught a bit off guard, expecting somewhat of a Trick Room centered mode, but the Phantoms led with Sneasler and Infernape. And it was just too much pressure for the Smeargle Hydreigon lead, especially because Hydreigon was Terra Steel, which was just weak in and out of Terra to a close combat. And once the pesky Smeargle went down, the offensive onslaught was just too much to handle, and indeed the outspeeding Okidogi was the final nail in the coffin as it just took a KO with Psychic on the 4x weakness. And game 2 was really nice, really smart techs. We had Grassy Terrain on Smeargle, we had Terra Dark on Gengar to counter the Indeedee Armarouge lead. And it was a good start, but some good defensive switches from the Phantoms made sure that the pressure was always right on. And once Terra Electric Thunder Punch Infernape took a surprise knockout on Araquanid, and Armarouge was able to set up Trick Room, it was just too late and the writing was on the wall. It was overall a very well played 2-0 victory for the Phantoms.
I really liked the shift of momentum in the Phantoms with Infernape going, like, I don't know, just going on the offense, letting the ape run loose. That was very cool and I think very surprising too for the opponent. So
Exactly, yeah.
six, the last game of this Motor City Mox against the Golden Rod Galates. And here we had Urshifu Single Strike, Ninetales, Articuno, Thunderous, we have Farigiraf, and we saw their new guy, Scizor, as well, versus Raging Bolt, Pelipper, Archaludon, Ludicolo, Scrafty, and Clefable. And yeah, so we have seen some new Pokemon hit the field for the Mox, for example, the Scizor. We didn't see the Ursaluna, the 6 KO MVP from last week, interestingly enough. And on the other side, we have the trusted Rain Core once again, but this time we see Ludicolo, which is interesting. So the Mux are leaving behind their 6 KO Ursaluna from last week, who looks quite strong into Bolt and Archaludon, but what else is really threatening into a Raging Bolt? Articuno alongside Ninetales challenging the weather, but not only that, but we also have Thunderous, who really just feels right at home in the rain. So even if the rain is up, Thunderous says that's very nice. On the other side, we have well, we have this pretty solid Steel Dragon Fairy core. We have Clefable keeping Dark Urshifu in check, while Freeze Dry threat hopefully isn't too much to bear for the rest of the picks. Like, Freeze Dry looks pretty scary in some of the mons. Game 1 starts, and I said earlier, Thunder says it's free real estate in the rain and starts prankster taunting, T-waving, and also dishing out those 100% accurate Wild Bolt storms to really cripple the enemy team. And it was Terra Ground Articuno that in the end dealt too much to bear for the Raging Bolt and caught him by surprise, I would assume. And while game 2 was the luck definitely on the side of the Motor City Mox, the Motor City Mox take home 3 points from a clean 2-0. But yeah, it was quite haxy in game 2, but it is what it is. It was thunderous, raining 3-3 this one. That brings us to the next section. Now we have every week we're gonna choose the most creative set used in this week, and this week was, drum roll, the Dragonite with the Citrus Berry, Terrafire, multi-scalability, extreme speed, braking, swipe, break, protect from the Basel City
Yeah.
place.
I do love that especially the Terrifier was very, very smart to just make sure that they don't get burned by Sacred Fire, that they do resist the ice attacks coming out of Qian Pao. It was very, very smart. I do want to highlight some honorable mentions though. First off, the co-star Choice Band Flamigo from the Yin and Yangs, especially next to the Sword Stance Ogerpon, and a potential tailwind from Murkrow. This could really just sweep games when positioned correctly, which is very, very nice. And then there was the Terra Electric Life Orb Thunder Punch Infernape, which was also very nice. It took the pivotal KO in game 2 to make sure that they get a clean 2-0 victory. And also the Motor City Mux Terra Ground Articuno was very nice as it was piloted, especially in game 1, where it just drawed in those thunder punches just to let them hit nothing with a smart Terra Ground. And yeah, lastly, I do think a small ode to myself with the Choice Band Physical Basculegion Female, which was also a very nice tech, especially with the Phantom Force.
Yeah, absolutely. Phantom Force is something that can completely throw you off, catch you off guard. I think my second place would definitely be the Infernape. I think it came out of nowhere and was very effective and surprising. So that's lots of cool. I do wish I didn't put protect on the Dragonite now though, because I don't think I clicked it once. So something cool like Dragon Dance or something would have been even cooler. But you're always smarter once the game is over. So we go to the trades, and there was a lot. We have the Basel CDP plates with a iconic 1-point trade, and don't sleep on this one. We have Bonnet dropped, and we get in Oinkalone female. We have the Sleepy Cubone dropping Brute Bonnet and the Articuno Galar. And I just saw Brute Bonnet has the wrong points. It's supposed to be 10, right?
10 points, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And they
My bad.
dropped for Garganacl and for, what was the last one? Garganacl and
Monkey Dory.
Monkey Dory, exactly.
And I was not happy to see that trade happening because Garganacl is one of those Pokemon I still am just not sure how to really approach. It's such a weird Pokemon. Really good. Strong pickup, in my opinion. We have the Goldenrod Galates dropping Swampert, sadly enough, fan favorite, and picking up Mamoswine. Mamoswine with a unique ground ice typing. Really offensive. Graceland Greninja's dropping Rotom Wash for 14 points, Slowking Galar for 8 points, and Umbreon for 8 points, Primarina for 15. Superior, we have competitive on the team, and we have Magnezone, and I think is definitely smart. In my opinion, Rotom Wash, I'm a fan of Rotom Wash, but I think Umbreon was not doing too much. That team pickups are good. as well as the Galarian Phantoms, with dropping Hatterene, dropping Bronzong and Bisharp, and picking up Garchomp and Infernape had already put in a lot of work and Drifblim. So lots of trades happening now. We're gonna switch over to the dock where we see the KO the board.
I do want to just give a
Yes.
small shout out to the Goldenrod Galates, because I do think Mamoswine is a very nice pickup. With a Rain Core, they do mostly struggle versus other grass types, and with having a very bulky and very offensive ice type with Ice Shard, this could be a very amazing and very pivotal pickup for the future weeks.
I agree. Very, very nice pickup. If we see the Pokemon leaderboard here, then we have some surprises here. We have
Dragonite's in the lead with 10 KOs, but I do think what sticks out here is that it just fainted once, and there is a difference of 9 points. It took 10 KOs with only one. Death itself is pretty amazing, and we already saw that the Keyblades are very well and very apt to just build some wacky sets with it, that it can surely sneak some more KOs out of it. So this is not even a dark horse anymore. This is just a potential MVP at the end of the season 1.
next week facing Fluttermane. Will Dragonite put in the work there? We're going to see. Who knows? Then we have Weezing Galar. Also had its 4 knockout game once where it 4-0'd. So also a little surprising. 11 pointer, if I remember correctly, just putting in work. Really cool. And to no one's surprise, we have Fluttermane on the next one,
which also had a 4-0 performance, and Dragonite as well. Yeah, but those are some real power hitters following next to Fluttermane, Ursaluna, Landorus, Therian. And then it's just the next surprising pick, which is Mimikyu. But also just with fainted once. So Mimikyu is also, especially with the ability Disguise, can be a very, very heavy nuisance to deal with. And with such a skilled trainer like Vivian on the Super Tenebros, it will have a dark horse potential for MVP, I guess, in my opinion.
Definitely. Mimikyu always definitely stealing my heart. Not the MVP spot. And yeah, the document has the AO leaderboard updated. So this is in the official doc now. And I'm going to close things out by looking at the actual standings. We have first place, yours truly, me, after 2 wins, both 2-0. First spot with points. Will I remain on the top? Probably not, but it's definitely a nice start. Second place, we have Vivienne with 5 points. 2-0 and a 2. And then, who is in the third spot?
That's me.
Exactly.
The Sleepy Cubans. 2-1 victories. The last undefeated trainer so far in week 2. It was, due to luck, due to RNG, in especially that game 2 in this week, where I just had Rock Slide flinch into Last Respect survival into Aqua Chat survival for the game 2 victory, which is quite lucky. So we'll see what happens next week. But we do have some strong trainers we're claiming one win after the week 1 loss, which is the Galarian Phantoms, Motor City Mux, and Nothing Creative. I do think Motor City Mux had the potential to be also undefeated if it were not for the double protect in game 1 in the week 1. So also a potential very strong trainer to be on the lookout for.
It was week 2 and anything's still open. We saw lots of trades. Momentum can shift at any moment. And yeah, no, I'm very excited to see how things are happen to this leaderboard. So that being said, I think we're at the end of the week 2 highlight section. So unless there's anything more to add, I would say keep brewing. The next matchups will be posted any moment in the Discord, but you can already see them, of course, in the schedule. That's it from me.
Yeah. And just have some creativity in the builder if you want to sneak a MVP for week 3.
Alrighty, take care, everyone, and bye.
Take care. Bye.